Hello and welcome. I figured today's Thursday and I have been using a certain oracle deck since the start of the month that is a throwback because one, it's been around for quite a long time and I've owned it for quite a long time, and I thought, hey, I'll do some kind of like a throwback Thursday kind of video and invite you to do the same. It's the Faeries Oracle, excuse me. It's the Faeries Oracle by Froud. So, you know, I own a lot of oracle decks. And I'm always in search of, you know, the perfect oracle deck to do personal work with and all this stuff. Look no further. This thing is mass produced. It is, oh, this is not sponsored. I'm just obsessed with this deck. So not sponsored, just obsessed. Although if Froud happens to come along and see this video, I would love some of your books. But anyway, not sponsored, just obsessed. All right, so like I was saying, oh my gosh, it's like I left the room. I left my body astrally projected somewhere, and I'm back. Constantly in search of that earthy deck, constantly in search of that that oracle that delves into, you know, the human experience, and holy cow, this is the one. I've always had it. Now I'm feeling pretty stupid right now because, well, you know what it is? It's one of those things that I've had it for so long that it sits on my shelf for ages because, well, I've had it for so long and I forget how good it is. So then I pick it up for the month of November. And I almost, for daily draws, right? And every time I approach it, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know if I'm up to this right now, because the impression that this deck gives is you feel as though these fairies are freaking spying on you. Every card I have picked since November 1st, and today is November 7th, and I haven't picked today's card yet, and that's why I thought I'd do this video first, and then I'll go pick the card and cry. But when you read, well, when I read from the guidebook, and the cards I've been getting are things that I'm not even thinking about. I think the first draw, my first daily draw, was when I read in the book. It was about how we curse people by what we say, which it wasn't top of mind that day, but it was really apropos for what was going on. We curse people with what we say about them. We curse people with what we think about them. And I was a little disgusted in someone that day, and I was having thoughts. I was having those thoughts about how I didn't agree with a certain person's decisions that they had made that affected a lot of other people. And I got that card and I'm reading this and I'm going, okay, I'm going to stop saying, I'm not going to say anything about it, and I'm not going to think about it anymore because I just got called out by these guys. And that's just one example. Every day. Then I got a card where I opened up the guidebook, and it was about how we do black magic upon ourselves with what we think about ourselves. And when we, you know, when we have less than loving thoughts about ourselves, and how we basically curse ourselves, and that was a hit that day, and it had to do with the fact that I was being hard on myself, and you know the drill, right? We all have those days where we're our worst critic, and so on and so forth. And I have to tell you, I know when, you know, I know this deck, but I hadn't worked with it in a while. And you know you have a really excellent tool that it's doing its job when you approach it with trepidation, because it's like, oh my God, what's it gonna call me out on today? That is creepy, because it's as though they're spying on me, because that is exactly how this deck feels. When you work with this, you feel like all these fairies are eavesdropping on your conversation. They're eavesdropping on your conversations. They're observing your interaction with others. They're observing your interaction with yourself. They call you out on all the stuff that, you know, you hope no one else notices. And they call you out on all the stuff that you pretend you don't do, say, or think. So, yeah. So all I could tell you is, okay, well, all I could tell you is that this is a really excellent oracle. And if you're one of those people who's wanting to do shadow work, yeah, look no further. Like I said, this thing is really affordable. It's mass-produced and widely available. The book is beautiful. Like, you know, it's hardbound. Look at this beautiful book. Oh my God, right? And when you open it up, it's so beautiful. It's got like this parchment colored paper. Just absolutely, the writing is just, it's excellent writing. It gives you so much information in here. There's, you know, there's a whole part 1, fairies and oracles, and then for each card you have, take for instance the Guardian at the Gate. For each card you have a description of the card, who this fairy is. Starter reading reversed. Starter reading is a jumping off point. But starter readings for each of the cards are usually like 3 paragraphs, like half a page. So wow, right? And then there's the criticism. The cardstock is shit. It's I think it's thinner than a greeting card. All right, and it's papery, and they get, you know, this is my second one. So this was my replacement deck, because my first one, well, was starting to shred just from use, and I put it away somewhere safe and I can't find it. So that's another thing about these fairies, okay? It's happened to me many times with my previous deck. I would put it down somewhere, and I knew where I put it down, and it would be gone. And I had little children at the time, so I thought, okay, well, maybe, you know, maybe my girls. And I'd ask them, and they'd look at me like, no, no. And then it would reappear on a higher shelf somewhere, not where I put it. It's like, anyway, so that's just one example. And I put the other one away because it was all mangled. I haven't seen it since. That was a couple of moves ago. It might even turn up somewhere. Who knows? Or it may have ended up in, I don't know, wherever things go when you move from one house to another, or one apartment to another, and you lose things along the way. That's always fascinated me, because I'm the one who packs the stuff. I'm the one who moves it. Why am I missing a box of shoes? Why did all my shoes went missing 2 moves ago? And so on, right? So yeah, so the cardstock, no good. I edged it. I edged mine with one of those, it's not scented anymore, but one of those scented markers from, I got it at Staples or Office Depot in the States. And it was, you know, it looks a little neon here, but it's not. It's actually the exact color of the far edges. But I like how here in the, it looks like it matches the inner little thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. Today, I'm making no sense. all I could tell you is, look, we're going to do a little, I'll show you all the cards, because they're, of course, now they're out of order. For every time I showed this deck in my previous videos, they were in order, because I hadn't worked with them in a while. Now they're out of order, and I didn't put them in order for the video because I'm working with them. And like I said, you know, I also have the Weaver's Oracle on deck ready to work with. I was going to pick my Weaver, and I don't know, I fell down the fairy hole with these guys, so I haven't even looked at my Weaver's Oracle yet. If you're watching, you're on a budget, or where you live, all that's available to you is stuff that's mass-produced, yeah, and you don't have an Oracle deck, and you're looking for something to do some serious, as the parlance of the tarot tube, deep diving into, like, you know, your foibles and weaknesses and, you know, those human nature traits that we try to work on. This one comes with a blank card. It invites you to draw your own. Yeah, I can't recommend this one enough. Also, I have to say, I probably should mention that customer service. Let me see, who is the publisher? I think it's Simon & Schuster. Customer service is amazing. I had ordered the replacement. It's not, and which is this one. And no, not this one. I had ordered my replacement for the one that's gone missing, and I received it, and the cards weren't secure in the box, and I received multiple cards, which, like, you know, torn and bent, creased, the whole thing. I contacted the publisher, and they, no questions asked, made it right. So, excellent customer service. I typically recommend this deck to people I know in real life. You know, they'll ask me, hey, I'd like to get cards to start working and stuff like that. And I know it's a little, it's not Hay House, it's not like, you know, the Doreen Virtue kind of deck. So like, you know, of course, know your audience, like I always say. There are some people I would not recommend this deck for, because they'd freaking hate me. They'd hate it, and they'd hate me. But for those people that I know appreciate fairy energy, fae energy, earth spirit energy, who appreciate, you know, who appreciate like a visceral experience, like, you know, a spiritual experience that really gets you, you know, inside yourself, and it's excellent. It crosses it, you know, it, like I said, you get the impression when you draw a card from here and you read it, you get the impression that the fairies in this deck are freaking spying on you. This is the best way I can. They're spying on you. They're eavesdropping on your conversations with other people, and they're reading your thoughts. They're eavesdropping on your thoughts, and I don't know. It's pretty cool. However, let me just say that if you are experiencing a time of, if you're, you know, emotional fragility, if you're experiencing a time of anxiety, yeah, don't, you might want to put these away for a bit. Just because if you're already feeling sensory overload, or if you're already feeling, what's the word? Vulnerable. These guys go straight for the jugular when it comes to vulnerability. So, yeah. you might want to put these away for a little bit. Otherwise, I cannot recommend them enough. I think they're amazing. I wish I knew them well enough to read for other people with them, because I know of one person that reads for other people with these, and I could just imagine how those readings blow people away and probably send them screaming, like running and screaming. Anyway, so that was my review of the Faeries Oracle by Brian Froud. Again, not sponsored, just obsessed. I don't have his other one, Heart of Fairy. That one's out of print. I don't know how that one compares to this one. I only know this one. So if you have Heart of Fairy and you want to, you know, volunteer, if you have both this one and Heart of Fairy, if you want to volunteer some information in the comments below, or do your own video comparing the two decks and how they differ, that would be really awesome. Let me know if you do. If you post a comment, I'll see it. But if you do your own video, let me know so I can come and watch it, because I'm very curious. I had what I thought was an opportunity to obtain the Heart of Fairy. It showed up on Facebook Marketplace in my town, but the person never got back to me. So I don't know, people, they put their shit up for sale and then they don't contact you when, you know, they don't reply or respond when you contact them and say, hey, take my money. So yeah, either that or they probably figured out that it was out of print and they were asking like $10 for it and whatever. So that's probably why they were ignoring me. They were probably, you know, they probably figured out they could get more elsewhere or from someone else, whatever. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to share that because I was ready to do my daily draw and I thought, oh yeah, it's this again. Before I do this, let me talk about it on YouTube and share that it's a really good deck. The tarot deck I'm using for daily draws, on the other hand, I don't know, I don't think I'm going to stick with it. I forgot to bring it with me, so I'm just going to be right back. And I'm back. Okay, that's so weird. I'm sorry. So this was just going, when I started, it was just going to be a review of the Faeries Oracle by Brian Froud, but I figured I brought up the tarot deck I'm using for daily draws, which I'm afraid is, I rarely do this because, you know, I guess I don't have a vast selection of tarot decks and oracle decks, but you know, I have like a few. I have I think I have a couple of dozen tarot decks. Well, I was using this one, the Saints. I had left the box in the other room. Saints. What am I saying? Saints. Ghosts and Spirits Tarot by Lisa Hunt. Oh my God, I can't. I love her art. I love her art style. But every card I've picked, you know, I've done a daily draw, and some days I pick a card in the morning and a card in the evening. These don't hit at all, at all, at all, at all. Sometimes, well, it's only been 6 days. Let's say I've drawn 10 cards. The card doesn't hit, even though it says Queen of Pentacles. I read the little white book, which has the information on which is the ghost or spirit, or who's the ghost or spirit on the card. And often, most of the time, okay, every day, they just don't connect. I don't find the ghost or spirit connects with the card or connects with it's. I feel like when I'm doing my daily draws with these, I feel like I don't know how to read cards. I feel like I'm brand new at this, and oh, okay, it's a picture. The image doesn't spark anything in terms of intuition. So there's no intuitive hit. So at least I find that very satisfying. Like, you know, I have so many decks that I don't agree with the guidebook, or the guidebook is not enough. That the guidebook doesn't do it for me, right? Because I'll look at the cards and I'll get the intuitive hit. This one, no intuitive hit. The ghost or spirit does never. The ghost or spirit does not jive with the tarot card that it's assigned to. For me, the ghost or spirit's story doesn't connect with me on any level, intuitive or psychological, and it makes me very, very sad. Now, am I surprised? No. This deck has come in and out of my life so many times. There's a reason why it's always passing through. And therefore, once again, I have to admit that this one just doesn't read for me. If it reads really well for you, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear that. It would make me happy to hear. For me, it just doesn't. And look at this artwork. Holy Moses. It's beautiful. It just doesn't. And, you know, I thought, oh, well, you know, maybe it's better. Maybe I should have, you know, used it in October. And it's like, no, this is my season of introspection and spirit communication and, you know, contemplation and all that stuff. And I don't know. You know what makes me really sad is that I love everything about these cards. I love the way they're weighted. I love the cardstock. I even love the mismatched backs. I love the artwork. I love the concept, ghosts and spirits tarot. I love that there is a ghost or spirit with its. I love the guidebook, the little white book, not guidebook, but the little white book. So yeah, makes me sad. All right, so that was, and this is the image on the box. So that was what's happening so far. That was my review of the Faeries Oracle by Froud, and a bonus review of Ghosts and Spirits Tarot by Lisa Hunt. If you have either of these two, please feel free to tell me what you think of them. Do they work for you? Do you hate them? Do you love them? That's it for me. I'm probably going to be back with some other video. I don't know. I'm home today, so might as well, right? All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. Bye-bye.